use that, but it's what I got.
Yay! Hey, everybody.
I am Jenna Blum. I am the co-founder of Mighty Blaze, and tonight we have the great privilege of hosting Margaret, who is a refugee from Frozen in her beautiful outfit. Margaret, can you stand up and give us a twirl? Because you're just so beautiful.
I wanted to do this big thing here.
Oh my gosh. You are so elegant. You're like a refugee from Frozen or a refugee from some incredible 19th century British novel. So who are you tonight?
I'll take that too.
Okay.
Let's move my little tower here. Hello, I'm Margaret. I'm coming to you from a Frozen cosplay, so there may be singing later based on that. But no, right now I'm in Portland, Oregon, and I'm very excited because we have this thing called Jolabokaflod PDX. And PDX, for those of you who don't know, is the airport abbreviation for Portland. So that's our hip, cool city name that, everybody knows.
That is really cool. It's like SWSX or PDX. Like we have BOS. It's not quite the same in Boston, but it's still cool. And can you tell me, so you guys, you would not imagine how long it took me to learn how to say Jolabokaflod. It literally took me 3 months. We were talking about Margaret's festival that she went, and it'd be like Boka Yoka, Bola Buli Buli, Bola Bo.
You got it because of your phone dictation. It finally, you saw what your phone said, and then you were like, oh, right?
Oh, Jolabokaflod. Actually, I think it was I started to remember Yola, 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 and then Boca, Boca Raton. And then finally that sort of kicked in. But can you tell us what Jolabokaflod means?
Yes. So not Boca as in Boca Raton, because that's Spanish, right?
Right.
Yeah. Jolabokaflod is like Yule book flood. So it's kind of sounds similar. It's Icelandic, and it's for the Christmas book flood. It's a tradition that they've had since the end of World War II, basically, where they have a book catalog. They pour over all the books for the year that are being published. Imagine if we had all our books published at the same time. And then they get each other gifts for Christmas Eve, and they exchange them, and they go home and become introverts and sip their hot cocoa or schnapps, as the case may be, and have a wonderful Hygge retreat. Now, Hygge is a Swedish word, but do you want to tell me what your thoughts are about Hygge?
This is Swedish. This is from Lindsborg, Kansas, one of my peregrinations. It's like the doll horse in Sweden. So you can see I'm outfitted tonight. So Hygge means cozy, right? In Scandi, Scandi language.
Well,
it's not tea in here. So, because it's Hygge time. It's like tea and rum and Grand Marnier and orange peel, right?
Approved. Love it.
Thank you so much. I'm trying to be Hygge. I'm getting in the spirit. But anyway, Hygge means cozy. And for those of you who live way, way north of the equator, when you only have 4 hours of daylight a day, you need to embrace the darkness. And so all of the Scandis invented Hygge. And it just means to be cozy and put on your little popcorn sweaters and hats. Although I'm actually super hot in this hat, so I'm going to take off. It was hot. We're not north of the equator right now. And you're supposed to have your slippers and your books and your fire and your hot cocoa and your rum and your schnapps and your hot cocoa, right? This is my understanding.
Yes. And I think part of it is what the sociologists would describe as being in the cave and looking out. So that's what humans find most comfortable, is being safe and secure and warm and sheltered, but then also being able to see and think of the freedom that you have of being out on the prairie kind of thing. So that's
all right. I love that, because then you go there in your mind. One of my favorite children's books is Frederick the Mouse, who stores up all the warmth during the summer. And then in the winter, tells his fellow mice about it when they're all really cold. So they're all huddled together, and then they're thinking about the warmth and the colors of the summer, and it's just this beautiful thing. So can you tell us about your personal Jolabokaflod PDX? Because this is a whole new thing.
Ooh, I forgot my sticker. It's in a binder. It's packed. Okay, so let me change this for a second, and you can see our little logo up there. So we have this cute little logo. It's designed. Oh, there we go. It's backwards. Designed by my co-host Elle Mitchell, and it's to give you that Hygge, but also give you that feeling of books and the Northwest, because what we are is an indie book fair. We started in 2018, and basically we used to have one that was down in Pioneer Square, which is like the central square. It went away, and we didn't really have any options for like low cost, have a fair, get everyone together, meet readers. And so I said, well, I'm going to do something about that. So we organized, and we had 2 good years of in-person events. And then this year, Elizabeth and I were like, so what are we going to do? And we came up with a virtual book fair because, I mean, what expertise do we have? Virtual book fairs galore. So we're highlighting indie authors and getting their books out there. We've got 34 authors and 16 panels over 2 days. It's December 19th and 20th with the kickoff on Friday, December 18th.
Awesome. So excited for that. We're going to show it on the Blaze, right? We get to all watch all of the fantastic events.
I don't have that arranged yet, but it could be arranged. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to do that for you guys since you are all showing up here making like little winter colors for us. Yay, Winter Book Flood. So excited about this. Do you have like a favorite event from Yola's in the past? How many years have you done this? Oh, and Sean wants to know, how do we join? Which is a great question. Hi, Sean. Yeah. Hi, Anissa. I missed you, Anissa. I haven't seen you for like 2 days. So it was like very empty and sad in my apartment.
Yes. Yeah, and Anissa's up there, so flash her up too.
Yeah.
Yay. Favorite thing from the past? So in the past, it was a book fair, which meant that everyone came and they had their own tables and people just circulated. We had food carts. We had not glögg, but something like it, and from a different Scandinavian country. And like treats, and we had someone playing the nyckelharpa. Do you know what the nyckelharpa is?
What is the nyckelharpa?
It's an instrument. It's a musical instrument that looks kind of like a keyboard on a violin. And we had an amazing musician from Portland who played it. And it was a great atmosphere. So we were trying to recreate that in the virtual space. And so because we can't have in-person engagement, we're like, well, we should have our authors provide something that, you know, people can listen to and get excited about. So came up with a submissions process. We went through that and had a lot of incredible people sign up. And some are solo, some are in pairs, and some are panels. So there's a little variety. And yes.
It's so cool. We have like, all of our friends are joining us this evening. It's making me really happy. So you guys, okay, can you say the dates again, Margaret? I'm gonna put them right up.
So I think I have them in the banners here. So first of all, I'm just going to point to the website, Jolabokaflod PDX.com, and Yola with a J. And then our handles, yes, our handles on all the social media platforms are Jolabokaflod PDX. So I have my little Google eyes there. And December 18th, I didn't make this one. Let's do this one. December 18th to the 20th. Okay.
Awesome.
Yes. So it's coming up in like 5 weeks. 5 weeks. We've been working at this since like January, since after the last one. So this is why it's like such a big thing for just 2 people to take on. So for today, besides the costume, what else did we prepare? I think you had something special in your background that you were going to share with us, right?
I did. So I am part German, part Jewish, and part Norwegian. So I feel like even though it's not Iceland, it's like close enough to Iceland to be sort of Yola-y, like Yoli. So I was going to introduce you guys to my mom's Norwegian pudding, which is called rummekraut, and that is because when it is made, it actually looks like grout. It's spelled with a D. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm so bad still at this. No, it's grot, like rummekraut. And it's basically, my mom would never make it from this mix, never, ever, ever. But it's basically a cream pudding that you make with milk and cream and flour and lots of swearing. And if you want to do it without the swearing, you can make it from a mix. And this is from this store called
That's called virgin rummekraut, right?
Say it again?
Without the swearing, it's called virgin rummekraut.
It's a, I don't know if there's such a thing as virgin grout, but we'll just leave that on the table and back slowly away. If you want to order it from online, this is from a place called Ingebrigtsen's in Minneapolis, where they sell all of the Scandinavian food and mixes and so on, which is an amazing place. I'll put the website in the chat. And so I just happen to have this in my house in case I need to make rumorgrout quickly, because you never know when that might happen. But if you want the full recipe, you can get it in this book called Table of Contents, which is all recipes from authors and from authors' books. And the recipe for rumorgrout is in here with my little essay about it, my grandmother's recipe for rumorgrout, which is rumorgrout. And do you guys want to hear the rumorgrout story?
Yes.
Okay, so rumorgrout, this fulsome cream pudding that you eat with cinnamon and sugar, was originally made by the settlers to feed to the pioneer women after they had babies or some sort of injury, and then they could eat it and be so hardened by it that they would like pop back up and go back to work in the fields or like cutting wood or whatever it was they had to do exactly. Or like, and I thought this was apocryphal until my grandma in Minnesota broke her hip at her assisted living home, and we thought she was on the way out. Like she had a death rattle. Like I'd never heard this before in her lungs. It sounded like a bicycle chain. This is not a very Hygge story, but it gets more Hygge. So she had this like terrible sound in her lungs. We were like, oh my God, she's going to die. We called the whole family together. And I thought, I'm going to get her some rumorgrout, like before she goes. Like she just might want some rumorgrout. So I drove from Minnesota, where she was, down to Iowa, where these two old ladies still made it, like in their store. Bought my grandmother back like a styrofoam cup of rumorgrout, fed it to her like while she was sort of in this half coma. And the next morning, like the whole family standing around her bed, like in the Wizard of Oz. And my uncle, who's really soft-hearted, was like, "Goodbye, little butterfly mama. Goodbye." And my grandma opened her eyes and she was like, "Oh, what are you all doing here? You all came to visit. It's so nice." And then she was fine, and she lived another 5 years to be 99 years old. So that's my rumorgrout story. So clearly you should get the rumorgrout from Ingebrigtsen's or this book, Table of Contents, which has my recipe in it, or I'll just put it online as well so you guys can see it. So that's my Hygge story. Was that Hygge-ish?
Yay! Yes, it's lovely. That's got all the elements. It's got like family and tradition and happy story.
Yeah, happy story. Tell me your favorite sort of Yola Hygge stories and books. Like what would you give for a book?
So when I went online to look up like what were Hygge book recommendations, there were some strange ones, but I went and looked at my library and I was like, this is an interesting question. So like, what's a book that gives you that feeling of security and sort of like safety? And it's funny because Sarah DeVello was just talking about this on her Mighty Mystery Tuesday, which is like some murder mysteries have this real safe, secure feeling because you know everything's going to be tied up and solved by intelligence. And I was like, oh yes, you can trust the Brits to have that, like, no, right? So
the cozy mystery, right?
Well, no, because cozy mysteries for me tend to be a little bit too white picket fancy, and I need a little bit more of like a sharp edge to the characters.
Right, right.
So I was gonna put this up because this is one of my favorites.
Oh, cool.
So Jacqueline Winspear writes these, and I think she's on like number 18. But her memoir is coming out soon. But I've been following this for several years, and begins after World War I with a detective. And what's Hygge about it is that she takes her time to process things in a way that is not really 1920s, but it explains why, so it doesn't seem like out of time. And it's just a fascinating way for someone who's around so much violence to process it and then come out stronger and like still balanced within herself. So I was loving every time I could go back into Maisie's world, like post World War I London.
Oh, I love that. That was great. Do you have another one?
I do. I have 3 more. So, okay, so one more is a mystery. Stephanie Barron, also Francine Matthews. She does these Jane Austen as a detective series, and every time I look at those, it's not risque. It's not like zombies or anything, but it's taking liberties, and it's very cleverly plotted. And I always feel like excited, but not like there's going to be trauma and that kind of thing. And so that's like a nice cozy feeling as well. Okay,
Yeah.
old favorite.
Ooh, oh my God, that's Stormy Petrel. Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yes. I think she was writing like 70s and 80s, so this is definitely an old favorite. She did fantasy, but it's like a love story. Her romances are like in the hills and islands, and it's always a woman who goes away to like live in a cabin and then finds love. So, you know.
Yes. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy, like warm and cozy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the last one, When Wanderers Cease to Roam, Traveler's Journal of Staying Put. And this is Vivian Swift's like artist book. So this is one of those like you don't read it straight through, you sort of dabble.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like Long Island, just sort of noting what happens around her house when she's forced to stay put, which we all have been forced to do for quite some time.
Yes, it's true. Dreaming of other places, right? Although I have to say, when we were really locked down at first in March and April, it was so interesting because I didn't go outside of an 8-block area I didn't have Henry Higgge the dog, that's his new name now, but I didn't even have him then. I would just go for walks, and I was on foot because where would you go? Because there was a pandemic. And I did notice so much more about my neighborhood in the way that you do when you're walking all the time and not like speeding past it in a car. Like, I live in downtown Boston. Obviously, you can see like my like strange pedimentary, columns in my very old apartment. And I was noticing like on my neighbors' houses, they would have gargoyles or, these incredible stained glass windows I hadn't seen before. And the magnolias were like really super huge and lush. And the first time I got in a car after that, it was so weird. Like I felt like an Amish person getting out of a horse and buggy and like getting into a car for the first time. I was like, it's too fast. It's scary. So I do think it's cozy to be home. So you guys, we had asked in the chat, like, tell us your favorite like books that always make you feel like warm and cozy and comforted, like your sort of go-to books. We want to know. And I would like to know also, hi Heidi, but also what books are you guys giving for holidays this year? Like, tell us your like number one 2020 book picks, because damn, what a hard year to publish, but you guys just like bought it and made all the authors feel really good. And while you're suggesting your books, please pop that in the chat. I will show you, this is like a Hygge series for me that I have not gotten off my shelf for a while, but this is called the Newberg series. And it's a series of books about novels about a pioneer family that my mom gave me like before she passed. And so it talks about like them coming to like the new land from Norway, Karl Oskar and his family, and how then they have to cross the continent by train. This is basically like what my mom's family did. So it was like super fascinating to me. And then how they plowed the land and how they finally wrote the last letter home because they could never go home again. Like they could never go back to Norway because it was too far away. So every like 5 years or so, I reread these books, the Moberg series, and sort of like revisit my heritage. And I'm wondering like if anybody out there has sort of similar books that they were given like that are, from their family that you like take down and reread every few years.
Who's the author of that series?
Sorry, say it again?
Who's the author of that series?
Of course, now Henry is eating a big bone. So it's Wilhelm Moberg.
Nice.
Which I knew you all remember. Then, of course, his name would have been anglicized now to William Moberg. Right? But yeah, so I reread these all the time. And one of the things I remember about this is, again, like not a very Hygge incident, but like there's a pioneer child in it and nobody's paying attention to her. And she pulls a vat of hot laundry off the stove. And so there's that sort of like horrifying incident There's a very long passage, a Moby Dick passage about how they clear the trees on the prairie that I think is like super interesting. And then one child, and I think of this every time I make bread, which I do a lot. One child dies because she eats dough. She eats bread dough, and it rises like in her stomach. So,
What?
yes, it expanded in her stomach, and she died before they could get to the doctor. So, I don't know if this is a true story or not, but I kind of grew up reading these and internalizing them, and so they're kind of like the grown-up version of like the Little House books, which also are like extremely Hygge to me. On the Prairie, like The Long Winter, I reread every winter, literally, and I think we don't have it as bad as they did then when they had to like burn hay to stay warm. So I think these are my
you're introducing an interesting element, because I should consider this as part of my strategy, because my historical fiction is immigrants from Scotland kicked off their land, going to Glasgow, not making it in the city, coming to Nova Scotia, trying to become farmers in a completely different environment and keep the family together. Ha!
Where's your book? I want to see your book. Do you have it handy? I know you've been. That was the cutest thing ever. That was like something on SNL. Yay!
So this is the keening. Do you know what a keening sound is?
It's crying, right? Or wailing. Can you do it?
Yeah, like wailing, exactly. Okay, what about cooling? Do you know what cooling is?
You sent me a video about it, but I don't know if I can do it yet. You want to do a little demonstration?
Okay, so I want to make sure that before I do this is not making fun of this practice. This is something you study to do, and it takes years to perfect, and it's actually very useful. It's to call animals who are up in the hills down to like the different grazing grounds when you're ready to move. So basically, it's like how people whistle in Scotland to get their sheepdogs to do certain things.
Yeah.
But it's like, it sounds like the music in Frozen. So it's like a, oh, and then they do that thing at the end. So that helps it carry through the snow-covered hills. And I just love how it sounds. So
oh my God. If I did that right now, I might call like some frat boys or something in Boston. Other animals would come down out of their apartments. And, old poor Henry was like, what was that, lady?
Yes.
Like that?
Yeah, exactly. So it's fun, right? It's totally fun.
Fun for me. I think I broke my dog, but I think she's good. So we're going to do another one of these pop-ups in December, right? So are we telling anybody exactly when we're going to do the pop-up, or are we just going to pop up and surprise everybody?
Oh, we can do it. I'm actually going to do one November 30th with Sarah, and on December 2nd with you and Whitney. So we got 2 more to go. And yeah, it's basically just getting out the word that we have this literary festival going on, and we'd love for you to tune in. It's free. It's going to be on our YouTube channel. We just started that, so please subscribe and you'll get notifications. Let me pop that back up.
And Blaze too, right? Are we putting it on Blaze YouTube also? So subscribe to the Blaze YouTube channel. The reason I bring up the other pop-ups is that the one with Whitney is going to be, Whitney Scherer is a novelist who works for Blaze, and does all of our graphic design. So the amazing logo that you see on your screen is Whitney's design. And she has a tent in her backyard that she got, and it's not like a child's tent. It's like a big glamping tent that has rugs in it, couch, and a wood stove. And I intend to be there all winter, like stirring Glühwein on the stove. And that's going to be my name, is Fräulein Glühwein. And so we're going to have one of our pop-ups there. And for that one, because it's outdoors, there will be yodeling. Or maybe yodeling and yodeling. So I'm practicing my yodeling for that.
Okay, can you give us a demonstration of the yodeling? Because I can't do that.
No, you guys are gonna have to tune in to hear the yodeling. I'm just saying, you gotta come get it. You gotta come and get it on December 2nd.
Nice.
Mark your calendars for Yola Yodel Fest, Yola Yodel pop-up.
Yes.
It's hard to say.
Do you know what this is? It's a pot holder, actually. But you know what the symbol is? It's called a Vegsvisir. So I got this in Iceland. So this is actually from the country that Jolabokaflod started in, and it's called a Vegsvisir, which is like a compass for finding your direction when you're in stormy weather. And I just thought, yes, I need this not as a pot holder, but as a like witchcraft sort of like memento.
Like a writer tool, like which way do I go? I don't know. Like I'm stuck in this book. I need to go somewhere. How does that work? Do you know? You can make it.
Oh, I just put it on my wall. It's just like a nice like. There's something working its magic for me on the wall.
You spin it on a day when you feel uncertain about something. You're like, boop, okay, I'm just gonna spin this, and it will point me.
No. I mean. Yeah, I don't know. There's different like runed kind of things on the edge, and I went through to try to like figure out what they mean, but it's pretty hard. So
I would look those up just to make sure that you don't have something pointing upwards that says like death and destruction. Rain down on me. You want that to be pointing towards somebody you don't like, right? Like a bad neighbor or something.
True. I could put this on my wall and be like the equivalent of someone getting a tattoo of a Chinese character that they don't know what it means.
Yeah, totally. Where you're like, look at this. This means change and opportunity. It really means like I'm so close and feeding spiders. And you're like, oh, why is it feeding
sour cherry sauce? Yeah.
Cherry sauce. Yes. Oh my gosh. So you actually went to Iceland. What is your favorite Icelandic food? And did you see reindeer?
I saw no reindeer there. Yes. Do you have a line on making a reindeer in your house? Did you see my little Max cartoon? Do you have any way to make a reindeer out of?
I can make a reindeer out of Henry.
That's what I mean.
Yep, I do.
Remember that part? You remember that part in The Grinch where
they tie the antlers under his chin? And he's like, I think Henry will eat the antlers if I get antlers for him, but I'll try it. I'm willing to try.
Okay. Yay!
Yeah. I could use crazy glue on him. And it would be like they would be stuck on there forever. So that would work. But what is your favorite Icelandic food when you were there? What do they eat?
I was there with my mom, and we went to my first thought is this restaurant we went to that was like a traditional restaurant because we like splurged for one because it's very expensive with the exchange and everything. And so we went and we had this like lamb stew, which is like. So Scottish Highland lamb is a thing because it's supposed to be very good. Iceland, apparently lamb is also a thing. And so we had, it was, and now I'm forgetting the name, what's that new like kitchen gadget where it keeps it at a temperature for a long time?
A refrigerator?
Like, no.
A stove? I'm so funny.
Somebody help me. There's like a new gadget where you put it in. It's not Sub-Zero, but there's like a, anyway, now I'm but it's this thing and I tasted it and it was like so tender and so succulent.
Oh my god. Ooh, I know what it is. It's a sous vide, right?
Sous vide, thank you. The French, of course, yes. So the sous vide lamb, that was out of this world.
Were you sad that you were eating a lamb, Clarice?
Not at the time. I was cold and hungry.
Was it like, what was it like there? Was it like totally freezing and, dark most of the time? What time of year did you go?
October. So we arrived and like they were doing the promotion of like add a 24-hour stay for free to your ticket, right? So we got there with the time change at like 5 a.m, and then we had to get up for a 5 a.m. flight. And we didn't have to do that, I realized afterwards, which is, oh well. But anyway, so it was very windy while we were there. And so it was like bitterly cold, very windy. And yeah, we had lots of fun. We bought some wool products. So I think sheep might be a thing, like an industry there.
Probably the only industry.
Lamb. Yeah.
And like peat or like lichen or something. Like you could get some really nice lichen in Iceland.
Well, hot springs, right? It's like the land of hot springs. So people go on tours to like visit those during the winter, and that's like supposed to be really nice. But we didn't have time to go on a bus and do that. So
that sounds really fun. I always want to go. So Mark, we would like to hear a demonstration of the keening. Like you can call me right now, and we will we'll put you on speaker. We dare you.
It's a little harsher on the ears, so that's why I don't want to do it on the
like that.
keening.
That was the keening, right? That's not keening. No, that was cooling. Sorry.
Cool. That was more like cooling. I think it was more pleasant to the ear. I feel like keening is more.
I'm waiting for Mark to call us a keen.
Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark.
Keening is so sad. Maybe Mark can do a pop-up at the pop-up at Whitney's, and we just won't tell Whitney, and he can like pop into the tent and do some keening and then like run out of the tent again.
That sounds like more of a Henry thing.
Oh, Henry, like, so when we go to Whitney's, she has 2 dogs. So we sit in the tent and we watch the dogs go meow past the door of the tent and meow past the other way, past the door of the tent. So Henry will be busy, but we're down for some keening. We would like some keening and cooling.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. And your neighbors are okay with this? Or Whitney's neighbors are you?
I mean, what are they gonna do? It's COVID. We're all keening.
Yeah.
Okay, so what book do you most want to get for Christmas this year or for holidays? For Yola?
Or Yola. I don't know. I just went on a spree and bought a whole bunch from my indie bookstore that I'm trying to keep here alive before I go to California. So there's no book I really want at the moment because I feel like I just totally splurged. How about you?
Oh my God, what book do I want? I would have to look at my list, but I'm really excited about the book for next year. And one of them is Nancy Johnson's book, The Kindest Lie, which is out in January, I think. Really, really excited about that. And I know Melanie Benjamin has a book out January 12th, 2021 called The Children's Blizzard, which like I'm super, super into because that's another like Hygge book about like kids caught in a blizzard. So I'm excited for both of those books. So if I had the whole catalog out in front of me, that's what I would look for, those 2. And I have a secret book coming out in October, but I can't talk about it yet.
Does it go well with Glühwein?
Everything goes well with Glühwein. Everything is better with Glühwein. And everything is better with butter also. Like those are my 2 mottos for life. Butter and Glühwein make you happy. Ooh, Anissa said she wants to see Surviving Savannah by Patty Callahan. Is that out next year, Anissa? Is it a 2021? I think so, right? Ooh, and Pam Jenoff has a new book coming out too called The Girl with the Blue Star that she just did a cover reveal for yesterday, I want to say, or Tuesday, and it looks really good.
Nice.
So, like already we're being like pushers for you. So Anissa says,
cool.
Callahan, Surviving Savannah, March 2021. It's going to be good. Excellent. Are there any other traditions that people do for Yola that we should know about, like wishes you could make or?
Well, the reason I thought this was such a good match for the Pacific Northwest is that it's for introverts and it's for cold weather. And, that describes readers in the Northwest pretty well. And hot chocolate is usually involved. So, you can choose your beverage or whatever you happen to be drinking, as the Corys would say. And, what is the term for your quarantine pod?
Bubble. You bubble, right? It's you bubble.
Okay. Yeah. So make your plans with your bubble and be sure to like put by the drinks that you want and then just like do a readathon, watch author talks. I mean, we're going to have so many great ones. There's there's a whole bunch of ones. We're talking about the plague.
So we can see. You're talking about the plague. Is that what you said?
Yes. Plague. Someone's going to be talking about artists and the plague from the sea of Paris in the 19th century. It's amazing. I'm excited about it. We've got memoir, we've got religion, we've got women's voices, we've got setting and fantasy, and research and crime fiction. There's the really cool one that's like way out of left field is this like secret society called Hocus, but it stands for Oh, Urban Scribes is the US, but I can't remember the whole thing. And they have a few writers who are going to give readings, but they're also going to show us a little bit of their like woo-woo thing because they're celebrating being writers and having like a ritual and a thing for luck. And
oh my God, that's so cool. I want to do that one.
Yeah,
I mean,
with the theme of the solstice, the longest night, because it's on December 20th that we end, and that's right before the solstice.
oh my gosh, that's very cool. I could use a few woo-woo rituals before I write. I don't really have that many rituals except like a lot of coffee, maybe, and like some eyebrow tweezing. Like you can tell when I'm writing, I don't have like any eyebrows because I will have tweezed them all off. Like, do you have any?
When you write in the morning, right?
Yeah, it's not my natural. I mean, I did before I got Henry, but now that I have Henry, I have to take him out in the morning, so I can't like take him out. Once I go out into the day, it's like my day is opened up to all sorts of influences and people and talking and sort of anti-writery things. So I tend to take him out, go talk to the neighbors, come back, do a lot of work, and then write like in the afternoon between like 4 and 6 is usually like everything else has been cleared away. And then it's like quiet time. The only problem is that's the time of day when I'm like really stupid. So that's kind of a bummer. Like I think I'm more awake like in the morning or like late at night. I'm like, I'm awake at 11.
That's like after school. That's after school before dinner time. So that's when you need like your snack. Do you snack when you write?
No, I drink coffee when I write, but I love snacks. Like I basically have like one meal a day and the rest are snacks. Like I have one meal a day at like 11 p.m. and the rest are like I graze on stuff like chips. I think one of my ideal meals is like pretzels and cheddar cheese and scotch. Like that to me is like a good meal.
Okay. I'm
right?
with you. Well, any of those singly together, I don't think they're my jam. But you know,
I mean, I'm not like dipping the cheese in the scotch or anything, unless I really, really feel like it. But I mean, I eat a lot of like chips and vegetables and soup. Like that's kind of a snack hummus, right? If I eat too much during the day, I get sleepy and then I can't write. So it's just kind of like I just keep the machine going with little light meals. What about you?
I switched around writing routine as well recently. Typically, it's first thing in the morning, and so it's before breakfast, so I'm not worrying about food. But when I've been doing it this year, it's been in the evening at like 6 or 8-ish, and there's snacks involved, and it's kind of compulsive. And I'm okay with it because it's still daytime, and it's helping me write. So I'm like, whatever.
COVID. What snacks do you have that help you write? I need snacks that help me write.
What are the snacks? Oh,
yeah.
Have you ever tried those sweet and spicy pecans from Trader Joe's?
Yes, those are awesome. Mark is still cleaning. I feel so sad for Mark.
I feel like I can hear him. I hear there's a noise. It's like, I think that's Mark. Mark
Keening is like from that When Harry Met Sally, where he is on the phone going, she's like, good night, Harry. And he's like, no, that's not Keening. That's more
I think
like
it'd have to be louder. I think it'd have to be louder.
I think Keening is like, I'm still waiting for Mark to call us. And Keen, we don't know what that sounds like. But, you know, Mark, it's really very selfish of you not to call us and Keen. But whatever. Okay.
Well, maybe he's expecting a payment because, you know, originally Keeners were paid at funerals to walk behind Keen.
Why?
Yes.
Why?
Just to show that the loss of the person who has just died was a big loss and it's being felt in the community and they're a person of stature. So you hire people to make a big noise.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow. Who knew? I could be a keener. I would like to be a professional keener.
He's waiting for the payment.
What would I want for my payment? You could just pay me in like pretzels and cheese and scotch.
And good scotch.
Yep, good scotch. And I would walk behind your entourage and you would be too gutted to weep. So I would weep for you. I'm down with that. I don't know why Mark is keening though. So I'm a little sad. Like Mark, if you have oxygen left, you tell us why you're keening. Okay, people, I think it's almost that time. Henry is starting to keen because he needs to go out because he's still a pup.
Cool.
Hi.
So, okay.
before we let everybody go, first we need to remind everybody when the next pop updates are. So Margaret, if you want to pop that on. And I'm not letting anybody leave until they tell me what is one book they want to get for holidays this year. We're waiting, we're keening inside. You can tell I used to be a teacher. This is when I would like look at the class like.
Yeah, sneakily. Did you do it?
No, scary eyes until
Nice.
people coughed up an answer. Nobody's coughing up an answer. It's really sad. Okay, so you guys think about what book you must. Thank you. Oh my God. Actually, this is a great choice. Sean, you freed the class, which is. Oh, sorry, Margaret. I totally stepped on you there. Sean has liberated the class to leave the building by putting up the choice Valentine by Elizabeth Butmore, which is one of our very first authors featured on The Blaze. It's a debut. It was the Today Show pick. It got a great review in the New York Times. And if I recall correctly, it was about three sisters, I want to say, on a horse ranch in California. And it's in the 70s. And it's an LGBTQ story. There's an LGBTQ love story in it anyway. So it just has like all of these like amazing, juicy things going for it. So Sean, I hope you get your wish. I hope you get your Valentine. And the rest of you, it's too late now, but you can come back on the 30th for Margaret and Sarah Hello, right?
Yes.
And Wednesday, December 2nd.
Wednesday for the wood stove.
Wednesday by the wood stove. I'll be making glue vine by the wood stove and yodeling, and Mark will still be keening. He'll probably have blacked out by then, but I mean, send food. We'll feed him. And then on those dates, please tell us what your books are, your YOLA books.
Yes,
oh, wait, Margaret, I have been meaning to ask you all night. Where did you get your what even is that? Like this velvet?
Oh, yeah, it's a velvety thing, like a cloak. I guess I would call it a velvet cloak. Local clothing chain. It was like their goth attempt. But I looked at that and I said, that mine.
Because it is very frozen. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. So for everybody who joined us late, can you stand up and twirl around again? Because it's really pretty.
Let me roll my video camera on its what is it called? Like
stand.
Slow cam, whatever. So it's dark here now. You can't really see, but it's a red satin skirt and a velvet cloak and a little detail to give you a little frozen vibe, get you in the Scandi mood to enjoy some Jolabokaflod PDX.
Yay! Yay! So we'll see you on December 18th and 20th, and before that on our next secret pop-ups. I need to practice that. That was not right. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you.